I indicated in a video a while back that I was going to go to a swap meet this weekend, and I went to one yesterday, and I didn't need any car parts. I needed a few odds and end tooly type things. So last time I changed oil in the truck, I used this oil filter wrench right here, and see how it's got all these ribs? Fits it nicely. And I have a couple other ones, you know, for other style of oil filters. I think this was for a tractor, and that one was for a lawnmower. Those are both for garden tractor oil filters. And but anyway, yeah, so they changed the style to where this wrench didn't fit, and where the oil filter is on the truck, you need one of those style wrenches with a really long extension. I don't know if it's too dark under here or not, but that white thing there is the oil filter that shows up. So yeah, there's no using a standard wrench on that thing. So I bought this. This was $25 for this kit. And it's got every oil filter wrench you could ever need in it. This is I think it's this style I use now on the oil filters on the Motorcraft FL, or Motorcraft, it's an 820S on the truck, Motorcraft 820S. But yeah, they used to have this fine ribbing, and now they got like this. And but I like these style of wrenches because if the filter is really on there tight, these will get it off. So anyway, I got a thing of oil filter wrenches, and I have hole saws, but this kit was 10 bucks, you know, and I cut metal with them a lot, so I dull them down quite a bit. I think I got a set somewhere in here, I don't know where, right here. And I used to use those when I worked on boats to put gauges in and whatnot. This is a lot of boat mechanic tools in here, and specialty tools I don't use often in this box. That's why it's always closed. But I still occasionally will work on a boat for somebody, Mercers or whatever. But anyway, my mirror was broken, so I got a new reaching mirror. But anyway, yeah, this was 10 bucks, and it comes with some nice size hole saws. Something, you know, just the other day I wanted a bigger hole saw and I didn't have one, so I got that too. Another thing I got is this. This is cast iron gray, and it looks just like cast iron. And I'll show you what I use this stuff for. In the past, I've always used this right here, made by Bill Hirsch. He used to they made good engine paints and whatnot, but I found just acrylic enamels work better on the engines. But this Bill Hirsch cast iron gray, you can't beat it. It's the best stuff I've ever used. I loved it. It's about down to there now. I paint master cylinders and anything that's bare cast iron with that to keep it from rusting. So I painted the, let me open up the lid on the Galaxy. That's painted with that Bill Hirsch cast iron gray. And that just saves them from getting rusty looking and crummy looking. I painted the one on the Bel Air God knows how long ago, and it still looks as nice as can be. But that, you know, little details like keeping that from being rusty. You open up the engine compartment, you see a nice engine compartment, you see a rusty master cylinder. Just doesn't look good. Brake fluid absorbs moisture, and it's also almost like a paint stripper. It'll take paint off. The brake fluid doesn't really affect this paint that much, and you know, but if you don't paint them, that brake fluid's going to absorb the moisture and rust your master, make it look terrible. And that's why they went with those rubber boots in there instead of vented caps, is to help isolate the system from the ambient air, to keep the moisture out of the brake fluid, because, you know, it absorbs moisture and rusts the inside of everything. That's what it does. I did not paint the exhaust manifolds on this car. I just bead blasted them, and they look fine still. If I store it in an unheated area, And look at that, that's just from bead blasting. But if I did store it unheated, I'd spray them with WD-40 because, you know, the engine would get really cold from, you know, sitting. We had some single digit weather, and then you get up into the 40s or 50s and everything gets covered in condensation like an ice glass of water. You know, you take your ice water outside on a hot summer day and it sweats. Well, that's what engines do when they're stone cold from being in cold weather for a long time. Then you get a warm day, they sweat, and everything that's bare will rust. So anyway, yeah, so I got this paint here, and it's supposed to be as good. And they have, this is their catalog and their prices. That stuff, I think I paid $12 for that little can of stuff, so it wasn't too bad. But this company here sells a lot of good stuff for if you need to paint something industrial or something that you really want to, you know, something good, durable. But again, you know, for like Hirsch motor coaters is what they call it, engine enamel, and it comes in spray cans or in quarts, and those are all the colors. So if you want to paint your engine, you want a good quality paint, you can buy it in a quart. They even have that, but you can buy it in a quart or you can buy it in spray bombs. And you know, they have all this high temperature stuff for manifolds and whatnot, and that's what this is. Same stuff. And so anyway, yeah, that's just, they have all tank sealers and, you know, a lot of interesting stuff. So that's why I'm showing you, and I'll show you the see if we can find where you can contact them. Right on the back cover there. So yeah, if you need anything like that, you know, I'm sure they would ship you. But I love this cast iron gray paint, like this brand in particular. I'll give this a 10. I've used it a lot, and it works good on exhaust manifolds too. I've sprayed them with it, but it doesn't last like it does on master cylinders or bell housings or anything else. It's supposed to be cast iron gray. So I just kind of wanted to show a little bit of what we have here. Yeah, what I got at the swap meet, and I was at Suburban Showplace Collection, I think, in Novi, and you know, it's not a big swap meet. It was kind of funny because I was there and I had taken a bunch of stuff up to my dad's house in Romeo for an estate sale, and I had a rebuilt 308 gear pig for a 59. It was actually out of a 60 Impala Sport sedan that had a 348 Power Glide, and I pulled the carrier out. The drivetrain, the only thing that was left was the carrier and the diff. And I pulled it out and had it rebuilt and used it in the car for maybe a couple thousand miles and realized it was too high of a gear ratio and went with a 336. But I had cut a housing I had that was bad down and welded it up so I could bolt it in the housing and fill it with gear lube to keep it nice. And I saw it at the swap meet in one of the vendor spaces for $60. It sold at the estate sale for $80, and I was surprised. So anyway, yeah, that's, you know, because they give you a detailed list of what they sell everything for at your estate sales. But anyway, that was kind of interesting seeing that. So their price list goes by the page. And you can see we got page 15 here. And the cans of stuff here. And you go to 15, and this is an 8 ounce. I don't know if it shows up there or not, but it's an 8 ounce can. And right here, 29. I gave them $20 for it, I think. It wasn't $20.95 or 20. It was an even amount. I think he just has better prices at the swap meets. But anyway, yeah. So I paid $20 for that, but I think they're well worth it. That'll last probably a decade. It'll probably outlast me. This, I've had this, and this, I bought this full. Actually bought this when I did that 38 Ford, the flathead V8, the machine surfaces were unpainted on Ford engines. And so I painted all the machine surfaces with this so they wouldn't rust. And that was the late 80s. And I still have some of this left and still use it, and it's still good. So that'll probably even last me another 10 years. I mean, it takes very little, but I've been wanting to get more just so if I do need it. So there we go. We got some more. So just kind of wanted to show some of the things here that I picked up at the sale, at the swap meet. And then, of course, they also provided me with how to use their products so it stays on, you know, prep and everything, and how thick. And like this stuff here, where did I, oh, right here. He said, I told him that, like, if I bead blast something, he said to scuff it out with a scuff pad or sand it after, put a coat on with a foam brush, then wait for the dry time it states on the can, put a second coat on. Then he said he just throws his things in a barbecue grill to cook it if it's like exhaust manifolds, master cylinders, bell housing, stuff like that. You don't need to cook them because they're not going to get hot like exhaust manifold. But if you use this on exhaust manifolds, you need to bake it on, usually 350, a couple hours. If you don't mind stinking up your house, do it in your home oven. But he said a lot of people just put it in their barbecue and do it, you know, bake it on in their barbecue. But with cast iron, if you don't want to crack cast iron, you got to heat it slowly and cool it slowly. Very important. That's what, you know, I used to tell people if they overheated their car, the best, you know, I've seen people with overheated cars and engine's cooking and they pour coolant, cold coolant in the radiator, and you can hear it gurgling as they're pouring it in the radiator. That's ice cold water, really cold water hitting their cooking engine, and it causes that cast iron to move rapidly there, and it cracks it because the other cast iron isn't moving, that isn't cooling, and the cast iron that is cooling, and it causes cracks. So don't pour water into your radiator if you got an overheated car until it's cooled down. Slow the cooling of the engine in any way you can. Leave the hood closed. Just let the car sit there for a few hours and cool naturally. A lot less chance you'll do damage to the engine. The slower you cool cast iron, the less chances of cracking it. So just keep that in mind. And you know, a lot of people don't realize too, you get a half cast iron, half aluminum engine, head gaskets blow because the cast iron moves more than the aluminum, and it chafes. It's like literally chafing that gasket between the two over the years. So you get, you know, years of the cast iron and aluminum expanding and contracting at different temperatures. Eventually the head gasket goes. That's why you rarely see that on all cast iron engines. You really rarely ever see them blow in head gaskets or intake gaskets. But you get aluminum gasket or aluminum intakes or aluminum heads or plastic intakes or whatever, then you're prone to blowing gaskets because of the difference in the expansion rate of the materials. I guess, seeing I haven't started the Galaxy in close to 2 months now, I'm going to, it was, well, maybe a month. It was December, mid-December, so it's mid-Jan. So I haven't started in a month now. And I'm going to put my battery maintainer on it. It's still showing a full charge on the battery, but I just want to bring it up, make sure it stays up. So we'll plug it in when that thing might show, see it's showing a little lower charge level now that it's plugged in. So I think I'll leave this on for, well, it's picking up pretty quick. So it might be up pretty good, the battery. The only thing that's really drawn on it is the clock and the interior light when I open the door. But I'm going to leave that on it for a day or two. It you know, brings up the battery and then it maintains them, which, you know, kind of, you got to kind of move the acid around in them to keep them from going bad, and that kind of helps do that. So that's kind of where I'm at. The battery for the Bel Air is right there. It's been on this battery maintainer since I parked the Bel Air back in, what, early October. And that's the old battery out of the Escape. It's still good. Put a new battery in it just because it was 7 years old. Battery's life is typically about 6-7 years. And that car's got to be reliable, so I put a new battery in it last year. Saved that one. I had another old one that was no good that I used for a core, and saved that one. And I use it around here, so you know, like the other day, or the last video I did when I got the paint shaker and I took the top off to suck the oil out. I used it to run my pump to suck the oil out of the paint shaker. So I do use that battery around here now and then. It's nice to have an extra battery, you know, if you go to pull something you need a battery, you just grab it and go. But anyway, we're gonna leave that on for a day or two. I guess just because I can, why not? I'll give it a minute or so. The paint shaker actually sounds louder in the video for some reason. It's really not very loud at all. It just, like I said, it just sounds crazy loud in the video for some reason. Just for the heck of it, I was going through making some room for stuff, and let me see how many of you actually know what this tool is. I'll even show you the writing on it, and see how many of you guess right as to what this might be, just for the heck of it. It's getting there. It's only charging at 0.4 or 0.4 amps, so not very much current going into the battery, but it'll bring it up, and it'll probably be up to maintain in within the hour, and then I'll just leave it on for a day or two, just to, you know, it like it says, it's a maintainer, charger, maintainer, tester, cleaner. I don't know, it just keeps the batteries up a little better when you put something like this on them. You know, buy a good, decent one. Don't buy just a Walmart one or something. I've had several of them, and they've just burned out and actually destroyed the battery. I destroyed 2 different batteries with ones I got from, I don't know, probably Walmart or somewhere. So I got this one at the Autorama. That you can buy some, there's a couple, you know, 2 or 3 good maintainers out there, but you know, use a good one. Don't use a cheapie, because you'll destroy your battery if it goes bad. I think the one I had on a battery I had in a car stored in my dad's garage, and a power surge or something fried the maintainer, and then it just absolutely cooked the battery. So these are designed, oh there, it's full now. These are designed to take power surges to a certain extent, and I've had these for years and I've never had any issues with them. But there we go, fully charged. Now it'll just maintain that voltage. Will eventually drop down to 12.6 as it sits here, but yeah, it's fully charged now. I think I'll end the video here for not much of a video of just yapping about swap meet things and whatnot. If you stuck in there and watched it and enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you like my channel, hit that 348 engine icon up there that pops up. That will subscribe you. And thank you for watching my videos.